Hey YouTube, Aiden/BurgerBob, whatever you want to call me. So today I was just digging through my pile of slides, and guess what I found? At the bottom, a Bach LT Slide. Yes, the nickel lightweight Bach option for slides. This is a Bach 50 slide. This is actually the one that came with my friend's 50K3. So his horn is actually an LT 50K3. For some reason, I'm an idiot, and I saw the slide in the case, and I went, you know what? I've got a good stock Bach slide. I'll use that. And then I ended up using the Edwards anyway. So I literally didn't even look at this, and it's really cool because it's an LT slide, and I actually haven't had a single one of these ever. I haven't seen one that I've been able to use. So I decided to do a video on it today. I've been playing it all day, swapping it in and out with my other slides. And I just wanted to let you guys know a little more about the LT Slide. So, and I had somebody mention, why are you checking your text while you do your videos? I'm not. This is my script, and I'm not cool enough to have like a teleprompter right under the camera, so this is what I have to do. Sorry guys. The LT Slide is Bach's only other option, stock option for slides. Bach does some weird custom stuff every once in a while. Maybe they'll do stuff for like Charlie Vernon, or you can get the removable lead pipes things with the screws, but otherwise they don't really do a whole lot of options with their slides. Where is my stock slide? Here it is, on the bottom. So they make the stock slide. This is with, no extra letters or numbers by the instrument name. And then they make the LT slide, which means LT and then the rest of the name. So LT 50K3, LT 42B, whatever it would be. And there's not a whole lot of difference. What do I have written here? Yeah, there's just not a lot of different variations on Bach slides. So this is if you got an instrument for a very long time. And I'm not sure when they started making these, but if you got an instrument for a very long time, it's either this or this. And it's most likely a stock slide. You didn't really get a nickel slide all the time. The only difference between these two slides is the outer slide. So everything about the inner slide, the part with the chrome tubes, everything about that is the same. The lead pipe is the same. Nothing changes there. Only the outer slide is different. And on the LT slide, all the tubes are nickel silver, which is the same material you see everything plated in, and you see on fittings for instruments and stuff. Everything is nickel silver, including the crook. And there are no oversleeves. By oversleeves, and I'm not sure, I've talked about this a little bit, oversleeves are these nickel silver parts on this normal slide. They're kind of like a part over the tube, and that kind of protects the tubes from your hands and stuff. It's just a little bit of stiffening. It also makes the slide heavier. Lightweight slides do not have that, so it's just the slide tube, just the grip. And mainly it makes the slide a little bit lighter in weight and in sound. I have here my half LT slide. Maybe we call it an L slide, which is a stock 50 slide that's been worked on by Minnick that has no oversleeves. So still yellow tubes and crook, but no oversleeves. So that's like halfway to the LT slide. What else do I got here? And this kind of construction for a nickel slide is pretty common. Like my Holton 180 slide, I'm not sure, it may have had oversleeves, but it was all nickel. And it's not uncommon. All nickel slides are not the weirdest things out there. This is a pretty common option for most manufacturers, and some only give you this option, like Holton did. The Holton slide did have a yellow crook, so it was backwards. Why do manufacturers make nickel slides? Well, they're lighter. In physical weight, like when you move this around, you go, oh yeah, this is a lighter slide. And that's why they get the lightweight moniker. They are literally just lighter than a normal slide. They're lighter in weight and in sound. The sound will just get a little bit brighter, a little bit less of the weight to the articulation to the sound. So maybe more of a kind of like a jazz thing, you'd use a light slide. Maybe if your articulations are just super slow and heavy on a normal slide, you would go this route. Nickel is faster, quote unquote. Articulations, response and stuff are faster with a nickel slide. Nickel is usually used in a couple spots to make response faster. For instance, on my Edward slide, the crook on the end is nickel. Everything else is yellow, but the crook on the end is nickel. That just makes response just a little faster, articulation is just a little faster, and that's not uncommon at all. The standard Bach slide has all yellow construction, other than the oversleeves, of course, and that just makes the Bach slide a little bit slow. Not actually slow, it's not like you go da, but it's just a little slower than an all nickel slide. So if you wanted a faster response, say for jazz or commercial work or whatever, the nickel is usually a good choice. And the articulations do change. They get a little more point to the front of them and less of like the brick, just kind of like, whoa, less of that and more kind of a point to the articulation. And lots of people like that. And the other main use for the LT slide, the LT 50 slide, and this is a Bach 50 slide, so for the bass, straight 562 bore, is people like to use these, the bass slide, they like to use them on tenor trombones. That is not uncommon at all. It's not super common. I think this was pioneered perhaps by the Chicago guys in Chicago Symphony. Jay Friedman, for instance, used an LT50 slide with a Bach tenor with a gold bell, usually a thin gold bell. A little side note, Bach gold bells are a heavier weight than Bach yellow bells by stock. And the light gold bell that is called the Friedman bell, you can get that on a couple instruments, or you could, is actually just a standard weight. So it's the same thickness as a yellow bell, but it's made out of gold brass, which makes it lightweight. Just a little side note. So the LT slide is not uncommonly paired up with a gold bell Bach tenor trombone, tenor of 42, there we go, just can't think of the name. And actually it plays really well. I played with this just a little bit. It's definitely a different feel because it has the bass crook on the end compared to my slide, which has a Con 88H crook. It's already going to be a different feel, but it plays a lot better than any of my bass slides do on this, for sure. When I put a bass slide on this, it just feels really slow and cumbersome, and the low range doesn't get any better, the high range gets harder. But the LT slide, something about the way it's built, the way it's lighter, the Bach 50 lead pipe is actually pretty good at high range as it's built because it's kind of long, and it just kind of lends itself to the 42. I wouldn't probably use this because I don't play principal in the Chicago Symphony, but it's really not a bad option. I had a teacher who studied in Chicago, and he played a setup like this for a long time, and he definitely switched off of it because it is kind of difficult to play. It just takes a lot of air. Yeah, it's not bad. It just takes a lot of effort. I'm used to using a lot of effort because I play bass, and so it doesn't feel really that bad to me, but I'm sure if I played a lot of tenor, especially if I had to play lighter stuff, this would be just overkill. So there you go, guys. Little overview of the Bach LT slide. I'm not going to play it at all because I am not super warmed up, and that's my excuse for today. Don't use excuses. LT slide. I usually do not like, my opinions, I usually don't like nickel slides because the sound just gets light to the point that I don't really like it. And usually they just have worse action. Something about nickel tubes. My old Holton slide was literally just the worst. I would clean it, put stuff on it, and then a day later it would just be garbage. And this one I get the same feeling from. It's not nearly as bad, but my brass slides just seem to maintain better action for longer, and this one just gets just a little slow. So that's my opinion. I wouldn't mind using this particular slide. It blows really well, but it's not mine, so I don't have to worry about it. There you go, Bach LT slide.